And the big focus that we have been doing throughout the day today at Mirror Now is coming from the national capital, where using abusive words against each other has become the new normal for our politicians. While the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi speaks of market of hatred and urges the ruling BJP to spread love, it appears that his comrades have forgotten Raga's Gyan. Congress spokesperson Pawan Khera's disgraceful remark against the late father of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has drawn BJP's ire, and hours after the former's dramatic arrest in Delhi, the matter reached the top court too. Granting interim relief to the leader, the top court warned Mr. Khera that there has to be some level of discourse and that we are protecting you. Meanwhile, the Apex Court has also sought a response of Assam and UP governments on clubbing of multiple FIRs against Pawan Khera. On the other hand, the Congress has slammed the BJP over the action, saying that they are treating Pawan Khera like a criminal and that this is nothing but politics of vendetta. Let's take a listen.
सत्यमेव जयते। देश में जो आज हुआ, दिल्ली में जो आज हुआ, वो शायद कभी दशकों में आजादी के बाद नहीं हुआ। चलते हुए जहाज को रोककर जिस प्रकार से कांग्रेस नेता पवन खेड़ा को जबरन उतारा गया, ये असम पुलिस की, मोदी सरकार की सरेआम गुंडागर्दी का सबूत है। ये सरकार है या फिर हिटलर शाही की फैक्ट्री? अग्रिम जमानत हमारे साथी और सहयोगी पवन खेड़ा जी को मिल गई है।
हम जब पार्लियामेंट के अंदर बोलना चाहते हैं तो भी ये लोग हमको बोलने नहीं देते। जब हम अपनी बात बाहर रखना चाहते हैं तो उस वक्त भी बोलना चाहते हैं, हमको बोलने नहीं देते। इस देश में फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच को, आज़ादी को,
shocking and outrageous. Nothing that Pawan had said or done warranted deplaning, arrest, detention. Really shocking. I'm very glad that I believe the Supreme Court has given him bail immediately, which is the right thing to do.
अंतरिम राहत तो हर एक को मिलती है भाई, मिलनी भी चाहिए, इसमें कोई गलत नहीं है। लेकिन सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कतई ये नहीं कहा कि ये कानून को नहीं फेस करेगा। ये कहा कि तीनों केस एक जगह रखो। ठीक है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी माना कि जो किया इसने पाप किया है। क्यों किया भाई आपने ऐसे? आप देश के प्रधानमंत्री हैं। आप इस अहंकार में, इस आपकी जो गंदी राजनीति के चलते आप इस तरह के परिवार को बीच में लाके प्रधानमंत्री के इंस्टीट्यूशन को हेड कर रहे हैं और आप उनको इस तरह से उनके स्वर्गीय पिताजी को बीच में ला रहे हैं, तो बड़ी शर्म की बात है।
जो कानून करे वो गलत। असल में क्या कि उनको कानून के दायरे में रहकर काम करना नहीं। जब आप देश के प्रधानमंत्री के पिताजी का आप अपनी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस, प्रेस वार्ता में उपहास उड़ाएंगे तो वो क्या ठीक है? क्या उनको लगता है कि वो एक हमारा जो समाज की हमारी जो संस्कृति है उसके अनुसार ठीक है?
Now let me go across to my colleagues who are joining me at this point in time on this very issue. Well, clearly as far as Pawan Khera's statements are concerned, it did cross a line. But what exactly do we know about the steps that the Congress would take hereafter? Would they try to make amends? I am now joined by my colleagues from India's biggest cities to hear what the citizens especially had to say. I am joined by Ishika from Delhi, Dharani from Chennai, and also Adrija from Kolkata and Thoya Jakshi from Bengaluru. Good evening to all of you, but let me first go across to my colleague Ishika, who's joining us from the national capital over here. Well, Ishika, what exactly do we know about the steps hereafter that the Congress party is contemplating? Because this is only an interim relief until Tuesday. It doesn't mean that the government or the cops are not going to crack the whip against Pawan Khera for making that defamatory statement against the Prime Minister.
Well, Samia, many a times, we have seen politicians using slangs and, very bad language for the other politicians. Many a times, the slugfest between the politicians turns into a slang fest. So definitely, what we are seeing right now, the Pawan Khera, case in which he has been, detained as well, the protest that was held, and, in fact, the BJP also, which protested, that definitely highlighted the issue, but it is not a new case. We have seen many a time, many politicians, even in the parliament, using in fact, slang words for many different politicians. So definitely, it does not only project a bad image of politicians themselves, but a bad image of India as a whole on the international platform. I have some, youngsters with me. I'll go straight across to them and get to know their opinion on this. I'd like to know from you, हमने कई बार देखा है जो हमारे जितने भी politicians हैं, वो बहुत ही बार जो होता है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा vulgar language, uncivil language यूज़ करते हैं. इसे एज अ यंगस्टर आप कैसे देखते हैं?
देखिए, जब हम पॉलिटिशियंस की बात करते हैं तो पॉलिटिशियन सिर्फ एक समाज का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव नहीं होते हैं, पॉलिटिशियन एक देश का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव होते हैं. और जब हमारे पॉलिटिशियन ऐसे बयान देते हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं जो लोग उन्हें फॉलो करते हैं वो उन बातों को भी फॉलो करेंगे. तो ये बात बहुत गलत है. पॉलिटिशियंस को अपना लैंग्वेज सुधारना चाहिए. उन्हें समझना चाहिए कि वो एक देश के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हैं, एक समाज के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हैं.
कई बार हमने देखा है कि जो पॉलिटिशियंस हैं वो काम के लिए तो नहीं लेकिन अपनी भाषा के लिए ज़रूर जाने जाते हैं. भले ही वो वल्गर लैंग्वेज ना यूज़ करें, लेकिन कई बार ऐसी स्टेटमेंट्स देते हैं जैसे कि बॉयज़ विल बी बॉयज़. ऐसी स्टेटमेंट्स का हम देखते हैं इंडिया एज अ होल का कितना ख़राब जो हम कहते हैं रेपुटेशन बनता है जब हम यंगस्टर्स खासकर इसे देखते हैं.
यहाँ पे आवश्यकता है, जैसा कि आपने कहा, इंडिया की रेपुटेशन खराब हो रही है. यहाँ पर हमें अगर इसके मूल में जाके हम बात करने का प्रयास करें तो देखना होगा कि यहाँ पे जो इंडिया है सोसाइटी उसको भी ग्रो करने की आवश्यकता है. क्योंकि आज भी इंडिया में आप डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट पे ज़्यादा कम वोट देंगे और आप भावनात्मक तो मतलब इमोशनल होकर आप ज़्यादा वोट देते हैं. तो इंडिया को भी अपनी इमोशनल मैच्योरिटी, जो यहाँ की समाज है उसको अपनी इमोशनल मैच्योरिटी को पहले सुधारना होगा कि किसी प्रकार से किसी भी स्टेटमेंट से इन्फ्लुएंस ना हो, तब जाके जो प्रॉपर रिप्रेजेंटेशन है वो हो पाएगा. इसलिए आवश्यक है कि इंडिया का जो यूथ है वो इसके लिए ज़्यादा सजग हो जाए कि वो इमोशनली किसी भी चीज़ से इन्फ्लुएंस ना हो, तो हम ज़्यादा अच्छे से डेवलप कर पाएंगे.
मेरा आखिरी सवाल आपसे ये रहेगा कि हम देख रहे हैं कि काफ़ी बार जैसे आपके दो दोस्तों ने भी कहा कि कैसे पॉलिटिशियंस ऐसी वर्ड्स को यूज़ करते हैं और
the people over here do not want to hear that the public representatives and their neta lower the discourse in public life in this manner. Let me go across to my colleague Dharani, who's joining me from Chennai. Dharani, what exactly are people from Chennai feel about it when they see their political party leaders and top netas indulge and stoop to such discourse where they are calling each other's names in the most defamatory manner? How do people of Chennai react?
These days, very frequently, we come across a politician who uses unparliamentary words or, sentences towards another politician, especially if they're from a different political party. And in most of, these cases, the one who used the unparliamentary language or the sentence, they do not acknowledge their mistake and they never apologize. That is the, usual case. And when we talk about Chennai, in fact, right now, I'm being joined by a person, and, we'll get to understand what he thinks about it, a citizen of Chennai. Sir, even in Tamil Nadu, we have come across politicians using unparliamentary, words against each other. So as a common citizen, when you come across such a news, when you come across a news piece or television, news that reflects, things like this, what comes to your mind automatically?
See, as a commoner, what we strongly believe is politicians, they are the face of the common public. They are the real government servants rather than any person working in a government office. But when it comes to physical, like verbal abuses or physical abuse, to be precise, they have started doing it on a bigger scale. So the trust factor has been completely lost. So a time would come where Nota would succeed these people in decades to come. Who knows? So it's really tough. It's annoying to see these type of abuses and stuff. They should work for the people and they should be a role model. They should set an example for common people right from the scratch, right from the ground level to the people, to Cat A, B, C segment, whoever it is. They should be the ones who should stand as a medium. They should be like a platform who should ensure that, okay, this is how our system works. This is how we are going to bring benefits for the people. But it has completely turned. It's like tipsy-turvy now. That is like, apart from politicians, we are okay. Even if there's a thief or a burglar, he's relatively better. That's how a common person's mindset is. And recent abuses, wherever it is, it could be a regional party members or it could be a national members. That should be a healthy competition. That should be a healthy debate. That is what we expect. That is how they should earn votes, not by these abusers and going stupid low. God.
Of course, as citizens, all of us, we expect healthy competition, healthy arguments, between politicians, healthy debates. And that is what this citizen is also expecting. We are, sending our representatives to parliament and to assembly sessions to have healthy debates and not to use unparliamentary words against each other. That is what he feels, and that is what majority of the citizens in Chennai too feel.
Absolutely. And then let's also hear from Srushti, who is joining me from Mumbai. Srushti, what exactly the people of the maximum city feel? You can have your political differences with each other, but there is a Lakshman Rekha that you do not cross. How is Bombay reacting to it?
Yes, definitely. Right now I'm standing with some youth of Bombay, and definitely let's just straight go across and talk to them what they feel about the exact same topic which we are taking up today. Sir, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
But talk to us more about, as we discussed, as I told you, that netas just cross their lines. They don't have the decorum to maintain, which was maintained earlier. As we see the older age politicians, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, be it be Nehru, be it be Indira Gandhi, they had some lines and people, idolize them. What do you think that these kind of things are going on? Netas just cross their line while speaking.
Like we've seen before in earlier times, like many politicians used to give small poets and small schemes in that parliamentary session. But these days we are seeing all the rules have been made towards and for the benefits of the politicians. Like our unparliamentary words are only available at parliaments, but social things have been changed. In normal grounds, politicians are quite changing their languages, and the scope of changing all the skills and management towards the language are degrading day by day, and also it's affecting all our national youths. Like we are admiring people, a lot of like today's generation politicians are quite aggressive towards the nature, and like the language is degrading day by day only to make their stand up and to get viral in the social Instagram pages of life and Facebooks.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you talk to us. क्या लगता है आपको भाषा का जो है वो प्रयोग काफी गलत तरीके से किया जाता है, लाइन क्रॉस की जाती है? हमने कितने महाराष्ट्र में भी नेता देखे हैं, हर रोज देखते हैं कि कुछ ना कुछ गलत चीजें बोल देते हैं. क्या लगता है इसके बारे में एज अ यूथ ऑफ दिस सिटी?
हाँ, एक्चुअली कैसा हुआ है कि सबको लगता है कि कंपटीशन चल रहा है. अलग अलग पार्टी के नेता कोई ना कोई स्पीच बोल देते हैं, और हम जैसे यूथ हम देखते हैं उनको, हम लोग उनको आइडल मानते हैं. हर एक कोई ना कोई लोग किसी ना किसी पार्टी को हम लोग आइडल मान के ही चलते हैं कि चलो ठीक है, ये बंदा अच्छा बोल रहा है, ये पॉलिटिशियन लीडर है वो अच्छा बोल रहा है. बट वो नहीं करते ये लोग. कुछ ईगो होता है, एटीट्यूड होता है, या पता नहीं कौन सा चीज़ वो लेके आके वो लोग स्टेज पे बोल देते हैं, हम लोग वो ग्रैब कर लेते हैं, फिर वही लड़का या यूथ उनको फॉलो कर लेता है. तो फिर वो मेरे हिसाब से गलत है. जैसे कि पहले के जो जैसे बड़े बड़े लीडर थे, इंदिरा गांधी, जवाहरलाल नेहरू, ऐसे बहुत सारे जो लीडर्स थे, वो लोग बहुत मतलब उनको देखते, उनके जब स्पीच सुनते तो ऐसा लगता था कि अंदर से ही कुछ बाहर आता था कि हाँ हम भी कुछ देश के लिए कर सकते. बट अभी ऐसा हुआ है कि खाली जस्ट कंपटीशन चल रहा है, और हम लोग जाए इसका स्पीच सुनो और फिर गुंडागर्दी कर दो, ये करो वो करो, वो सब चल रहा है. तो ये थोड़ा बैड इम्पैक्ट है यूथ के लिए, I feel.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. This was the youth of Mumbai. As you heard, they are saying that politicians just say such lines to get, famous in social media, and others are just doing the rat race to grab the attention of maximum people.
And that is how the politicians and the netas of today are disappointing their cadre, their voters and people at large who place their faith and confidence in these netas. Let me also go across to my colleague Thoya Jakshi, who's joining me from Bangalore. Thoya Jakshi, this discourse that has been stooped to its lowest ebb, perhaps, where the politicians do not know where the buck stops. How is Bangalore looking at this entire discourse of politicians plummeting to its lowest ebb?
Well, yes, that's absolutely, many politicians even in Karnataka use unparliamentary words. I can also tell you, this kind of unparliamentary words are mainly used during the assembly session times when the session is going on. And like today, we also know that the senior Congress leader Pawan Khera also commented on the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi and on his father as well. And even in Karnataka as well, there are many politicians who use such kind of words and do, and also make remarks on other politicians and fight among themselves. I too have two people with me right here. So please tell us that today the senior Congress leader, Mr. Pawan Khera, had made a comment on Honorable Prime Minister Modi and his father. So politicians are making such kind of comments. What do you say about it?
So I think we are seeing this trend from quite some time where young leaders, young politicians who are coming into those politics and representing them as a leader often are very short-tempered and can make any narcissist comment about their political party or a person. So I think politicians are like a role models for the younger generation and for the society. If they are doing such kind of, comments and character assassinating someone, whether, and that too going to a parents, which have absolutely no relation with the, doing politics, then that showed they are very, desperate to get attention from all the wrong reasons. Who know these politicians who are making such comments? Often you see the senior leaders doesn't make to go on to these deep kind of, family relation. And just imagine if it is vice versa. BJP is making any, allegations around against a leader of a Congress party. It would have been a different that a national, national party is making such comments, and they are so. We should be refraining. I think young leaders, especially the leaders who are in the center, who people look to, they should not be doing it. It, as a general to the society, that can give liberty to any person to speak about their parents, family, background, caste, religion, and it's getting too out of hand. I think there has to be something done towards them. At least party should control their people. That's what I believe.
And you, sir?
Definitely. I agree with whatever she has to say, but at the same time, this culture began in West, and it has been growing around the country and around the world, and it should not be that way. People should use parliamentary language when they are addressing the nation, and it's very sad to see such language being produced and them saying such kind of words for no apparent reason, rather than just defame someone, and in this case defame someone's father. That's very appalling to see.
So yeah, like this, if people of Karnataka and Bengaluru as well, they have their opinions on politicians using unparliamentary words and making remarks.
Jakshi, and that is how they have all shown how disappointed they are in their netas. Appreciate all of you joining us here and getting the voice of the people from your respective cities about how they react to netas and politicians stooping to the lowest discourse and not knowing where to draw the line. And to discuss this further, I'm joined by our guests at this point in time, Arshpreet Khadial from the Congress Party and Smita Gupta, who is a senior journalist. Very good evening to both of you, and I appreciate you joining us here at the Daily Mirror. My first question, of course, would go across to Ms. Smita Gupta. Ms. Gupta, how do you see when politicians do not know where to draw the line? Of course, they have the political issues, they have their political agenda, they are political rivals. But there is a Lakshman Rekha that one must not cross. You are using derogatory word, defamatory terminologies for the Prime Minister's father. And then, of course, you want to turn around and call it to be a case of vendetta politics. Does it augur well? The people are watching, and what example and precedent are you setting for the country?
Surprised at what you have been saying and what your reporters have been saying, because first of all, you have made an editorial comment, and on the basis of that editorial comment, comments are being sought. I was given to understand that this program was about the remarks that Mr. Pawan Khera made, the fact that he was deboarded from a plane and arrested. And subsequently, the Supreme Court has given him time till Tuesday. As far as I can see it, the debate really is about what did Mr. Khera say. Mr. Khera said that the joint JPCs have been permitted by two prime ministers in the past, and why is the current prime minister not permitting a JPC? Yes, he misused Mr. Modi's father's name. But Mr. Modi in the past has also not been very careful in his language. It is not, I remember the time when he referred to the Sonia Gandhi and her son as Kai Bachra. In politics, this should not be permitted. I agree. People should be careful about what kind of language they use. But what is much more important today in the light of the revelations set of the Hindenburg reports revelations. If the government, if the opposition parties are seeking a joint parliamentary committee, as has been permitted in the past by other prime ministers, that is the substance of the issue. Secondly, what Mr. Khera did, it's like to swat a fly, you use a fly swatter, you don't use a hammer. So I just find this quite appalling, and I would suggest that you go by the facts of the case rather than, out of hand, just because none of those young people who were interviewed even knew what had been said by Mr. Khera. They were just asked, all of them were asked, politicians use bad language. Is that a bad thing? And of course, every young person will say politicians should not use bad language.
Ms. Smita Gupta, that is exactly our moot question over here, and we are not giving clean chits to anybody. Whether there are top leaders from the BJP or the top leaders from the Congress party, we are condemning the usage of certain physiology unequivocally for both the political party leaders. We can, of course, make it a point and a case about the excesses. We can talk about the Congress party. Yes, please go ahead, Ms. Gupta, with your views.
I don't know. Maybe I haven't read the full remarks, but the remarks that I saw simply showed that Mr. Khera had made a mistake in the way he took Narendra Modi's father's name. That is the only thing. I may have missed something which is much worse.
Yeah, and that is a mistake, is what you are agreeing also, Ms. Smita Gupta, that perhaps that physiology could have been avoided. He could have made a case about the Joint Parliamentary Committee and sought an investigation.
As I said,
absolutely. That is exactly what we are questioning over here.
You don't use a hammer. That is what I'm saying. And secondly, the most important issue
but then, Ms. Gupta, an eye for an eye would leave the whole world blind. Is that really the way forward in a civil society over here? Let me take that question across, Ms. Gupta, to the other panelists also, Arshpreet Khadial, who is a Congress spokesperson.
Samia, one more point. I've covered...
Yes, please go ahead, Ms. Gupta.
For about more than 38 years. And in parliaments around the world, people do use bad language. It is not to be encouraged, but it is part of the normal practice. And all are equal offenders in this game. So to come and to, arrest somebody, deboard him from a plane, I just think it is an excessive response. And it is a way of distracting attention.
Yes, we are condemning the excess, ma'am.
Key issue today.
Ms. Gupta, we are condemning the excess over here as well. Just as much we are condemning the phraseology that Pawan Khera used.
Yeah,
and let me take a question across the Congress spokesperson, Arshpreet Khadial, who's also joining me at this point in time. Ms. Khadial, how do you see, Mr. Khadial, when Congress party has been called out in this regards? When Ms. Smita Gupta is saying it's not the first time around that a politician or a spokesperson has used a language that doesn't behove of them to use, especially in public discourse. But why would Mr. Pawan Khera be arrested in this manner is the larger question the Congress party is raising. They're questioning the timing. They are saying that this cannot be seen in isolation, that it was followed by the ED raids in Chhattisgarh. They were heading for the plenary session in Raipur. And at this juncture, when Pawan Khera is arrested, it is of course something that the Congress party unequivocally has come forward and condemned. But all that we are asking, a minimum question over here is, you can ask for a JPC, you can ask for the investigation. Perhaps there is one Lakshman Rekha that you do not cross, which is meant for both the BJP and the Congress party that we are saying over here. We are not taking sides. We are seeing that public discourse, especially with the politicians, has stooped to its lowest ebb. But can Mr. Pawan Khera really avoid a terminology like that, which has landed him in a soup?
Well, first, it's a sorry state of affairs that when it comes to an Adani issue, nothing happens, nothing said by the government, no action is taken, no agency gets involved. But when it comes to a slip of tongue, an FIR gets registered, the person gets arrested, he does not even get a legal notice, and he's not even informed about the grounds under which he gets detained. Number two, this is not happening for the first time. There's been incidents before back in the day as well. For example, Mr. Jignesh Memani's April 2022, a similar incident happened. Third, if the Bharatiya Janata Party could give up with their double standards, it would be really nice. because the Bharatiya Janata Party has used words like Saddam, Dayan, Pappu and many more for our leaders. Did any FIR happen against those Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders? Mr. Modi in the parliament took a dig on the former Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh. I cannot even repeat the statement. Did any FIR happen? Did any action get initiated against the Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders? Nothing happened. So why does the Bharatiya Janata Party
Mr.
not
Khadial,
give
I will
up
have
their
to
double
interject
standards
over there.
already?
I will come
And
back to you
number
to
4,
complete your point, but we have some breaking news coming in that I will have to go to. And let me get you some breaking news at this point in time, which is coming in, where the Congress leader, Mr. Pawan Khera, has been released from the Dwarka court. He has walked out on a bail bond of 30,000 rupees. Well, that is the big breaking news that we're getting you at this point in time at the Daily Mirror, where the news that just come in. Congress leader Pawan Khera has been released from Dwarka court and has walked out on a bail bond of 30,000 rupees. And let me go back to my colleague, I beg your pardon, my guests who are still continue to be with us. Mr. Khadial, you can go ahead and make that point. Mr. Pawan Khera is out on a bail bond of 30,000 rupees from the Dwarka court. Please complete the point that you were making over there.
See, does the Bharatiya Janata Party have any faith in the Constitution of India? Do they believe in it or do they not? Because under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A, it's categorically mentioned freedom of speech and expression. It is our freedom of speech and expression. And if the Bharatiya Janata Party, wants to curtail it, wants to indulge in dictatorial ways, wants to abuse power, wants to be all undemocratic about it, first take action against your own leaders who have been, rendering statements which have been, of a much higher magnitude when it comes to issues like this. And number 4, opposition parties.
Mr. Khadial, hold that thought. Let me also go across to my colleague Adrija, who is joining us from Kolkata. Let's hear it from her what the people of Kolkata have to feel about the kind of discourse that the politicians are stooping to.
Well, absolutely. So first of all, the practice of using unparliamentary words in parliament and also behaving in a raucous manner within the parliament is not something to be appreciated of. And even though one of our guests were stating that, this practice is quite common across the world, still not something that needs to be appreciated of. Now, I'm being joined by a youngster from Kolkata. Sir, first of all, what is your opinion in view of the fact that our politician, our country's politician, use various unparliamentary words repeatedly on a daily manner, even inside the parliament?
देखो, इनसाइड द पार्लियामेंट हो या फिर पार्लियामेंट के बाहर हो, आजकल की पॉलिटिशियन का एक बात हो चुका है कि वो लोग डायलॉग्स में और भाषा के ऊपर जो उनका बंगाल में भी देख सकते हैं कि ममता बनर्जी कभी कभी ऐसे वर्ड्स का प्रयोग करते हैं जो कि पॉलिटिक्स के तरफ जो यंगस्टर्स है जो आज छात्र पॉलिटिक्स में आ रहे हैं उन लोगों के लिए वो एक उदाहरण बनता जा रहा है कि मैं अगर डायलॉग्स दूंगा, मैं अगर कुछ ऐसी बातें करूंगा जो लोगों में थोड़ा सा हलचल मचा दे तो फिर ही पॉलिटिक्स होता है। लेकिन कहीं पे भी भूख की बातें नहीं हो रही है, कहीं पे भी एजुकेशन को लेकर प्रॉब्लम की बातें नहीं हो रही है, कहीं पे भी बजट के बारे में जो प्रॉब्लम सामने आ रहे हैं उस बारे में चर्चा नहीं हो रही है, बस डायलॉग्स और ये पॉलिटिकल वर्ड्स गेम हो रहा है।
जी, शुक्रिया हमको हमारे साथ ज्वाइन होने के लिए। सो एज यू कैन सी इवन द यूथ थिंक्स दैट पॉलिटिशियंस आर यूजिंग वर्ड्स unparliamentary, which is definitely not right, and it is in fact creating not a very good image of the youth, not setting a very good example of the in front of the youth. Over to you.
Absolutely, Adrija. Thank you for joining us with all those details. Let me go back to my colleague, I beg your pardon, our guest who still continues to be with us, who's the BJP spokesperson, Ms. Shatorupa, is joining me here. Very good evening to you. Ms. Shatorupa, how do you look at this entire development that took place today? Of course, the panelists were mentioning that it is not the first time around a politician has made a statement like this. They are actually saying that the Prime Minister himself has not really held the dignity of the chair he holds, and he uses certain unparliamentary words and terminologies within the parliament when he addresses the opposition leaders as well.
Samia, good evening, and good evening to the other guests also, and through you, the rest of India, whoever is watching. Today, I think the issue was very specifically about the way Pawan Khera has been talking about the Prime Minister of India, and he not only made a slip of the tongue by using some other middle name, he purposefully reiterated that and used another middle name for the Honorable Prime Minister. Now, as far as Indian tradition is concerned, I think most of them would know, most of the speakers would know today on your channel, that a name is, the first name is your own name and the middle name is your father's name, and then the family name comes in. So if you are going to address the Prime Minister of India with a wrong name, whether it is all three of his names or the middle name, and then again purposely, I mean, if you see the video, if your guests are shown the video again, they would probably realize that it is not just a slip of the tongue. He again came back and said,
my liberties. Yeah. Sir, but don't you think that Assam police should have contacted you or given someone? I was not given any FIR. I was not given any. मुझे इस देश की न्यायिक प्रणाली पर गर्व है, इस देश के लोकतंत्र पे गर्व है। लेकिन जिस प्रकार से ये पूरा ड्रामा हुआ और बीजेपी भी कह रही है कि बिना एफआईआर की कॉपी दिए, बिना नोटिस दिए जो मेरे अधिकारों की अवहेलना करने का प्रयास किया गया, उस प्रयास को आज कानूनी रूप से इस देश के महान न्याय प्रणाली ने जवाब दिया। किसकी जीत हुई है? न्याय की जीत हुई। आराम से भाई, आराम से आ जाओ, आराम से सुरेंद्र एक लाने दो, एक आ जाओ। हाँ बताइए आराम से आ जाओ, आइए एक बार हटा लेना, ये नहीं जाने दीजिए। हाँ चलो बोलो, आप हटो ना, करो चलो
सर, आज जो पूरा प्रकरण हुआ उस पर सबसे पहले आपकी प्रतिक्रिया जानना चाहेंगे, और ये कैसे देखते हैं कि आपको सर्वोच्च अदालत से अब राहत भी मिल गई है?
बिना एफआईआर की कॉपी दिए, बिना मुझे कोई नोटिस दिए, हवाई जहाज से उतार कर इस तरह से गैरकानूनी रूप से मुझे गिरफ्तार किया गया असम पुलिस द्वारा। न्याय प्रणाली पर मुझे पूरा भरोसा और आस्था है, जिसकी वजह से आज मेरी स्वतंत्रता की रक्षा हुई है।
अगला कदम आपका क्या होगा? क्या रणनीति आगे रहेगी?
संघर्ष जो हमारा है इस देश को बचाने का, संवैधानिक मूल्यों को बचाने का, मेरे नेता राहुल गांधी जिस निडरता से अपना संघर्ष कर रहे हैं, मैं उनके हाथ मजबूत करने के लिए एड़ी चोटी का जोर लगाऊंगा।
और अधिवेशन को लेकर अब आपकी आगे की क्या तैयारी? आप कब वहाँ के लिए?
मैं जा रहा हूँ, अभी जा रहा हूँ।
अभी जा रहे हैं?
एक मिनट हमको करने दो,
Well, that is Pawan Khera, who was addressing the media soon after he was released from Dwarka court on a bail bond of 30,000 rupees, saying that his personal right was impinged upon. He was arrested without furnishing any FIR, and he says that he's going to continue with his responsibility in the opposition party. I'm also joined by callers who are joining in here at Mirror Now. Mr. David joining me from Cochin. Please go ahead with your views. You're watching the show. What do you feel about the discourse that the politicians have lowered to? Well, we will try and reconnect, but clearly that was Ms. Pawan Khera addressing the media right now outside the Dwarka court. And as we talk about netas and their language, let's not forget